When people say something is not much work, you've got to understand that people have a different perception on what is a lot of work due to their experiences and their circumstances and their expectations. Now, I'm going to take the example of permaculture. Now, in a lot of places, conventional farming is a very long and hard-working job. It's just expected in some farming that you'll just be working hard 6 days a week. Depending on how you run your farm and what other things you have to do to make ends meet, you might just have normal 60 plus hour weeks. And I'm not going to get into whether that's good or bad, but you will hear people from permaculture say, oh, I did this and it wasn't much work. And well, sometimes you have a pretty unambiguous claim of not much work, okay? So you've got, say, Michael Hogue of Transformative Adventures, or the Lily House Permaculture, whatever he calls himself these days. And he makes an unambiguous claim. And, you know, he's very upfront about the fact that he's worked in conventional farming and he puts a few hours a week, a small number, single-digit hours of work a week into any given site and produces plenty of food, as in enough for him to satisfy all of his vegetable requirements and sell some. Okay, so that kind of explicit claim is good, right? Because you know exactly what he means. But if all you hear is, oh, it's not much work, and your comparison is conventional farming or 60 plus hours a week in some other job, you might spend 40 hours a week doing permaculture and not getting enough food to live off and think this is just the expected result. You know? And I guess this is a very close topic to my heart because of chronic fatigue syndrome severely limiting what I can do in a week. So if I get a permaculture technique that actually works in my context, that only takes a few hours a week and provides like all of our vegetable food needs, that might even be plausible for someone who has chronic fatigue syndrome, as long as it's not too severe. You know, maybe it would work out, maybe it won't, but it's at least plausible. But if I were to like have some shining-eyed permaculture enthusiast say, oh, it's not much work, it only takes 20 hours a week and I get like half of my vegetable budget or whatever saved. That's not a small amount of work from my perspective. That's literally more than I can take on. Like if I could work 20 hours a week, I would have a part-time job, you know, and I wouldn't have any left over then for doing this project either. So just when you've got a vague claim like not much work, understand that some cultures just assume that you're going to be working all day, every day. Some people assume that you're going to be working 10 hours and still making time for other things in your life. Your assumptions are going to affect your evaluation of how effective something actually is. And sometimes you might be doing a relatively ineffective version of something, or something that's claimed to be relatively effective if you haven't really seen it for yourself, and not know it.